All right, welcome to your yoga class. You guys have your blocks, you have your mat space. So we're actually gonna start in a child's pose tonight. So bring your toes together and knees wide. Start your watches if that's your thing. On yoga, settle into your space. Start to crawl yourself forward. Let your chest melt down to the ground in between your thighs. Reach your hands long at first. You can even tent your hands down into your fingertips to feel the length in your arms and the softness in your shoulders. And then you can just let your elbows relax down. Rock your forehead from right to left. Settle back into the center. And just let yourself get heavy. Notice your breath. You don't need to change it quite yet. Just settle in first into this physical form, and then you can start to take your awareness deeper, deeper, deeper. And then we can get really intentional with the breath. Inhale through your nose. Take an open mouth exhale and sigh. Again, deep breath in. Exhale it out. One more time, deep breath in. Fill up, fill up, fill up. Open mouth exhale. Seal your lips. And take your breath in and out of your nose. See if you can make this both a count of 5 on inhale and exhale. You don't need to pause in between unless that feels better for you. Helps you stay present. And think about what you want from this practice. Maybe it's just the quiet time to go inward. Maybe it's the movement of your body, or just it is the practice of presence for you. Connecting breath to movement. If you have another intention, or even just a word that you want to embody for tonight, like grace or flow or peace, bring that in now with your breath. And then sigh it out again. And release your expectations of yourself. Notice the weight in your shins, the weight of your pelvis back on your heels. And keep yourself anchored there. Go ahead and pick up your head. Walk your hands over to the right side of your space. Interlace your left hand on top. You can put your head back down in between your arms. But notice this stretch you get on the left side of your body. All the way from your hip crease through your fingers. Maybe you notice more into your ribs or even underneath your arm. Hang out there for 2 more breaths. And then start to pick up your head. Walk your hands through the middle and over to the left side of your space. Put your right hand on top and interlace those fingers. Keep reaching long with your left arm. And feel into the right side of your waist, underneath your arm. Notice if you're carrying weight in your head, which creates tension around your neck and shoulders. See if you can soften there. Make your breath big, concentrating on the side and the back body. One more time. And then slowly walk your hands through the middle. Pick yourself up into a tabletop. And you can bring your knees together, sway your hips from side to side. And just crawl your toes under, lift up your knees and walk your feet towards your hands about the width length of your mat. So they can be a little wider than shoulder length distance apart. Let yourself dangle down with straight legs. Let your upper body start to sway left and right. Maybe you don't touch the floor. Maybe you hold onto your elbows. You keep up with that sway. And just notice what position your feet are in. Can you have them as parallel as possible for now? Let yourself move from right to left, noticing what you feel on the back body, in your hamstrings, and in your low back. Even again, the tension around your neck. Are you carrying your head or can you let yourself drip forward? And then hold it still right in the middle. Take 2 really generous breaths for yourself. Add a soft bend to your knees if you need to. Last one. Relax your hands back down to the floor or to your block. Put one underneath your face if you need it. Take your right hand to your low back, left hand on top of a surface. Take a breath in and think of finding a halfway lift. So make your spine parallel to the floor. Exhale and twist over to the right without letting your pelvis shift underneath your right hand. Or sorry, you're turning to the right. Did I say that? Take your hand all the way up overhead if that feels good. You can circle out your wrists. You can circle out the entire arm and shoulder if that's what's calling your name. Or you can even take your hand all the way behind your back and find the inside of your left hip crease. Notice if your left shoulder is diving down towards your ear, can you engage and push into the block as much as you're thinking about lifting out through the crown of your head? If it feels okay, look up towards the sky or keep looking straight ahead. One more breath here. Exhale and let it all go. Coming back to the center. You just switch up the hand. Right hand goes down. Left hand comes to your low back to keep that sacrum as neutral as it can for now. Deep breath in and find your long spine. So push down into your block. Exhale and swipe your hand to the right to feel this twist in your spine. And then you can take your hand all the way up to the sky, circle it out. Circle the entire shoulder out, like you're swimming. Or you can take the entire forearm over behind your back and in for your right hip crease. Look up towards the sky if that feels good on your neck again. Getting the full twist. Notice your belly button. And gently let yourself unwind back to the floor. If you need both blocks, you can have them, or just use your hands on the floor. Bend into your knees, sink your butt down low, drive your knees out wide. Think about keeping your chest really broad. It's like you're sitting really low and straddle. And then start to pump your legs back into straight knees. Sit down, maybe you breathe in when you sit, and exhale, straighten your legs. One more time, inhale, bend the knees, sink the butt low. Exhale, straight legs. Now see if you can keep the strong legs, keep your long spine, and unhinge by squeezing your glutes. Inhale, come all the way up to the sky. Take a big reach all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands in towards your heart space. Take your hands to your hips and let them roll around. So you're making like a giant circle, as giant as you want it to be, going in one direction. You should feel this in your hips and in your back. Reverse it the other way. Letting yourself turn. Maybe it creeps up into the rest of your body and your chest. Nice. And then find a stillness, almost as if you're like oscillating into this moment of strength and structure right into the middle. Okay, take a big breath in, reach high to the sky. Exhale, let's side bend over to the right. So your right hand can come down to your thigh or to your hip. Let your hips push over to the left and feel this length all the way out through your left side. And then breathe in, use your core, come back up to the sky, both hands up. Exhale, try switching over. Left hand to hip or thigh, reach up and over with the right arm. Use your core, breathe in, come all the way back up to the sky with both hands. Exhale and let yourself dive forward with a long spine. So that just means core engaged, your hips are hinging down. Let's step it back into a high plank. So I want you to pedal out in this plank. Maybe the hips go up so you're more in a downward facing dog. Up to you and your shoulders tonight. There's a little bit of strength happening here if you're pedaling here for your core. I want you to feel the openness in your calves and ankles. And then when you're ready, you can settle back into a full plank on your toes with your heels over your big toe mound, or you can touch your knees down depending on what you want. But either way, you're not letting your low back arch yet. Tuck your tail in, pull your low belly in strong. Take a big breath in right here, chin off your chest, push the ground away. Exhale and bend your elbows, come all the way down to the floor. Get the things out of the way if you need to. Okay, bring your hands low by your low rib cage and untuck your feet so they get long and they're hip width distance apart. Bring your elbows nice and close together like a cricket. Deep breath in, peel yourself up, baby cobra or medium cobra. Exhale, lower yourself down. Again, maybe you come a little higher this next one. Inhale, lift up through the chest, and chin off your chest. Exhale, fold yourself down. Last one, inhale, push down as much as you can. Maybe there's some extension in your arms. You could waddle your hips forward. You could waddle from right to left. Look over your right shoulder. Then look over your left shoulder. Notice what you feel in your low back. If you feel tension here, I want you to think about pushing your pubic bone down to the earth. Your waistband pulls back slightly. Take your chin off your chest and look straight ahead or look all the way up to the sky. Maybe you tighten up your quads, you push down into the ground through your feet, your knees hover off the earth. One more big breath in. Exhale, let your thighs touch down and move into downward facing dog or come through a tabletop. Curl your toes, then make it all the way back to your dog. If you need to pedal it out, you can. Or you can hold stillness. Think about that strength in your arms, the length there, the length in your spine as well. Tilt your pelvis forward so your sits bones lift really high towards the sky. Doesn't matter if your knees are straight or bent, as long as they feel active in your front body without compromising your spine. And let your heels get heavy towards the earth. You see your feet, they're hip width distance apart. Anchor back down into your hands and take one big inhale through your nose. And open mouth exhale. Inhale, lift your heels, look forward at your thumbs. Exhale, bend your knees and walk it all the way up, as many steps as you need to make it with your feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Length out of the crown and the tail. Exhale, fold yourself in. Inhale, root to rise. Push through your feet, rise all the way up. Take a reach overhead. Exhale, thumbs in towards your heart space. Take a bonus breath in through the nose. And an open mouth exhale. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips, soft bend in your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the thighs and glutes turned on. Exhale, fold. Relax your back. Inhale, come all the way up to stand again. Big reach overhead. Exhale, hands in towards your heart space. Now this time, take your hands behind your back. And if you can interlace your fingers together, maybe you get the heels of your hands to touch. If this, is not accessible for you, go ahead and grab a strap or a towel or a pillowcase. Right? Lengthen out your arms as much as you can. Keep a soft bend to your knees. Maybe you go wider with your feet. Inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, dive yourself forward. Let your knuckles come up and overhead, relaxing into your shoulders, but keeping the activeness in your triceps to help stretch out your biceps. Let your head drizzle towards the floor, tailbone up, soft bend to the knees if your hamstrings are talking back to you. One more. Bend your elbows, unclasp your hands, bring them down to the floor underneath your shoulders. And again, step back to your plank pose, either on your toes or your knees. Just keeping the shoulders warm. Take a big breath in, big breath out. All right, inhale right here at the top. Exhale, find your down dog. Maybe make the adjustments with your feet. Again, find the anchor in your hands, the length in your shoulders and spine. And then take a big breath in. Reach your right leg high to the sky. Bend your knee and stack your hips open over towards the right. So it's like you're trying to kick your left butt. And then I want you to notice your shoulders. Did your right shoulder lift up? Can you square that down and keep lifting your knee up towards the sky? And then notice your left knee. Can you point the patella, so your kneecap, in alignment with your second toe? Take one more breath in. Exhale and shift your leg forward. Come through that plank and step your right foot down, followed by your left knee. Grab your blocks if you have them and need them. Okay. With your hips super settled in, I want you to sway from right to left. Collect your breath. Your hands are framing your foot. Notice where you feel this in your body and get really acquainted with it. Settle back into the stillness right in the center. And keeping your chest proud, take your chin towards your chest and try just rocking your head from right to left. Notice if you carry tension in the tops of your shoulders. You can start to let that go, melt. They have a different height on your blocks if you need to. Really breathe deeply into your left hip flexor. Try it for one more. Cool. Pick up your head and shift your hips back. Let's straighten out your right leg. Pull your toes up. Okay, doing a little wave with your spine. See if you can loosen it up, just like you did with your hips before. Breathe in, think about lifting up through your chest. Exhale, let your spine curl and round while your toes keep lifting. Inhale again, spine comes up like a wave. Exhale, roll it down. One more time, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Stay down here, breathing into your hamstrings. Just the right side on its own. Maybe you play with dropping the right hip down, moving your pelvis, searching for your body's biggest sensation. You can even point the toes, pull them back up. One more time. I want you to land with your toes up towards the sky. You're gonna keep your block underneath your left hand. And just like you did before, right hand comes to your low back. Keep your sacrum neutral for now. Kneecap on the right, pointing up towards the sky. Take a breath in, find your long spine. Exhale, twist your spine over to the right. You should feel that all along your glute, your outer thigh. And if you want to try opening up your shoulders again, you can reach your right arm back for leverage of the stretch. The more you lean back, the less of a hip stretch you'll get. So just be mindful of keeping your spine on this little axis that's parallel to your leg. You can circle out your wrists. Notice what kind of balance it takes to kind of move on this skinny plane. Take one more breath in and a big breath out to come back down to frame your leg. Bend into your right knee, and I want you to slowly walk it over towards your left knee. And basically what I want to see, or what I want you to try, is using your hands to help you out. Lower your shin down in front of you. Okay, your leg or shin can be at a diagonal and then sink into your hips, coming into your half pigeon. And then look behind you at your left leg. Just because sometimes we think we know what our body is doing, but maybe we don't. See that your toes are sticking straight up from your leg. And then just like we did with the hip or the hamstring, take a breath in, lift up your chest. Use your hands to help you out. Exhale, slowly roll your spine down. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, flow it down. One more time, breathe in, find the length in your spine. Here's a challenge for you. Try no hands. Maybe you even interlace again and see what that feels like. So let your hand or head come down to the floor and lift your knuckles up towards the sky to get glute and shoulders at the same time. Breathe into your hips. Just relax your face, relax your jaw. Try to square your left hip down. Take one more breath here. Start to walk your hands, if you still have them clasped, put them underneath your shoulders. Breathe in, pick up your upper half. And this is what we're gonna try tonight. Tuck your left toes under and really power up through your quad. Push down into your arms and see if you can hover your right leg in this plank. And then take a breath in, shoot your right leg up towards the sky. You can lift your legs straight and then play with the bend again, just like you did before. If wild things in your practice, you can turn it all the way over, right toes down, lift up through your chest, your hips. This is probably the most complicated thing I've ever done on camera before, but try it out if it's in your practice. Deep breath in, exhale, roll it all the way back, right hand grounds, followed by your feet. Come back to your downward facing dog and take 2 big breaths right here. Out through your mouth while you fine tune this pose. And we'll try the left side. Breathe in and lift your left leg up. And then you can bend the knee, stack open your hips. Remember, it's like you're trying to kick your opposite butt cheek. So your left heel goes towards your right hip. Square your left shoulder down. So I want you to feel even pressure in your hands as much as you can. With your right knee spiraling in line with your second toe, right? We're not letting the knee drop in. You're still getting a lift in your arch. Take one more breath in here. Exhale, pull your knee through underneath you. Stamp your foot down. Lower your right knee to the earth and grab your blocks. Okay, settle your hips back down. And remember, for any of these lunge poses, the way to feel most of your hip flexor is by leading with your pubic bone, keeping your belly button or your waistband back. Keep your knee over your ankle. And with your spine, your upper back, neutral and long, then let your chin come down towards your chest. You can play with the rock of your hips right to left, or maybe it's just your head. Enjoy the feeling of stretch across your right hip. And if you're not enjoying it, try breathing a little more consciously and tell your hip flexors to receive. Receive your breath. Receive the time to open up. Don't let your mind speed you out of it. And then pick your head up, push into your blocks, push your hips back, straighten out your left leg, pull your toes up towards your face, Take a deep breath in and lift your chest. Exhale, work on rolling your spine down one segment at a time. Again, inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale to fold. Last one together. Inhale, come up. Exhale, dive in. Think belly to thigh, chest to knee, and head to shin. Keep the soft bend, a little juiciness in your left knee. You can play again with dropping your left hip and lifting it up. I want you to be as curious as you can about your body, not with judgment, but just with an open, honest curiosity. That's all it is. You're observing, you're witnessing. Point your toes down and pull them up. 2 more breaths. Go ahead and lift up your spine. Lift up your head. Plant your right hand down on the block right underneath your shoulder. Okay, you might have to feel out this center of balance, right? Hips over this back knee. Okay, plant down firmly into your hand. Left hand's gonna go to your sacrum again. Deep breath in, find your long spine. Think tailbone back. Exhale and twist to your left. Ah. My right hip wanted to drop forward, but keep pulling that hip back. And keep your left kneecap up towards the sky. Work on opening up your left arm to the sky if that feels good. Keep pulling your shoulder blades together to cradle your heart from behind. Easier to balance if you tuck your right toes under. Remember, instead of leaning back away from your leg, try to get your spine and your leg parallel to each other. One more big breath. Exhale, lower your left hand down. Okay, grab both of your blocks if you need to and heel toe your left foot over to the right. And it's gonna get kind of close to your right knee. You're gonna go down slowly with a bunch of awareness in your left knee and in your left hip. You're slowly gonna work your right leg further back so your hips stay pretty neutral. You could always stick a block also underneath your front hip, the leg that's in front. So this would be your left side. Untuck your right toes, double check on them. They're all in alignment. Okay, take a breath in, tent up your fingers, lift up your chest. Exhale and lower yourself down. Then ride your breath like a wave again. Come all the way up. Exhale again, lower. One more time, breathe in, working to all segments. Exhale, release it. Bring your head down to a surface. Let your arms do its thing. Oh, we didn't try it without the hands clasped, but you can always do that again on your own. Otherwise, let your arms soften just as much as your hips are softening. Breathe and relax into it. Keep that 5 count for your inhale, 5 count for your exhale. One more breath. Crawl yourself up onto your hands. Want them right underneath your shoulders with your fingers spread out wide. Take your time gearing up for this. Right toes tuck under. Right thigh activates so your knees off the ground. Think about pulling your belly button in towards your spine and your pelvic floor as you breathe out. And hover that left leg. And inhale, reach your left leg up towards the sky, straight, and you can open up your pelvis. You can bend your knee on this side again, like you're trying to kick your right butt. You can also just let the toes reach for the floor. Your left hand will come up towards the sky. Think about lifting your pubic bone high. Reach your hand back behind you. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lower your left hand down to the ground, followed by your left toes. Lower your knees. Take them together and just do a hip sway from right to left until you work your hips all the way back, feet down, so that your hips are right over your heels. You can curl your head close to your knees, reach your hands back for your heels. Actually, you can anchor your feet about hip width distance apart if you need more support here. I want you to imagine your hips are being the driver for this. Lift them up and off your heels and let your arms stop you from tumbling forward. But you're pushing down through your shins so that there's no weight in your head. You could shake it free if you needed to, but you're still trying to curl yourself under, getting a big rounding in your spine. Take one big breath in into the back of your shoulders, your spine and low back. Exhale, let your hips come down, let your arms rest. You can let your head go one way, so your cheek is down. And just see how it feels to be in a small little ball, like a little embryo or seed. When you breathe, your belly will push into your legs. So that means you have to breathe into your sides, breathe into your back. Feel out your hips. One more time. Then you can bring your hands out, lift up your head, lift yourself up, crawl forward, and take your feet around so you can have a seat. And let's go, I'm gonna go the wide length of my mat to face, and you can do the same if you need the space. Walk your feet out really wide and sit on a block if you need to, or use your hands and anchor yourself up. So I want you to feel like you're not even sitting on your sits bones and your low back is rounded. I want you high on your sits bones. Knees bent if you have to, or just keep using your arms, right? Proud chest. Pull your toes up, take a breath in, and a breath out. Take your fold forward. But try keeping a long spine for just 3 rounds of breath. Stay active in the quads. One more right here. And then you can let everything relax. So legs can go soft depending on how you feel. And then your spine can fold over super soft too. I like to use blocks underneath my head, so you can copy that. Whatever height works for you. Do whatever feels good for your arms. And just take 3 big conscious breaths. Letting your body receive it and then move with it. Take a breath in, start to stack yourself up. Again, one segment at a time. And bring your legs together. You can use your hands if you need to. Give them a windshield wiper, give them a shake. Okay, spin back to be on the long side of your mat, right in the middle with your butt. And let's bring the blocks with us. If you have to, they make a great platform if you have a big booty. Okay, so I like to, it just feels more supportive. Grab onto your hamstrings, dig your feet in. This is my favorite way to get down. Take a breath in, heart up. Exhale, roll your spine down. No hands if you want the extra core work, but try to keep your belly button down. Then lower your head. We're gonna go feet right behind your glutes. Blocks grabbable. Okay, push into your feet. Inhale and lift them up. Slide your blocks underneath your hips. Let your hips relax on top. So it shouldn't be on your low back, right? It's just on your sacrum, like where your hands have been this entire time. And you can do a few things here. You can just let yourself rock and get comfortable. You can lift your legs up towards the sky. But I was thinking it would feel nice to let your legs straighten out. You can stay in supported bridge or let your hip flexors again open up. If you want extra, bring your arms overhead and imagine you're getting pulled, right? From ankles to wrists, feeling the length in your front body. Keep checking in with your low back. You could always play with the height of your blocks. Think about this posture being one to reverse sitting. If you've been sitting all day, you can even give yourself a little hands-on adjustment and work on the hips. Feel out your core even. No rush at all. Bend one knee, drag the heel in, followed by the other. And then push into your feet, lift up your hips, take the blocks out, push them down, and lower your hips all the way to the earth. Bring both knees in towards your chest to start. Pull your right knee up towards your right shoulder and lengthen out your left leg. Okay, take a breath in, seeing if you can anchor down into the top of the left hip. When you breathe out, drag your right knee across your body. Maybe you put your foot down and shift your hips over to the right. And then cross the leg all the way over. So you're gonna twist. Bring your right arm out. You should feel maybe right outer hip. Twist in your spine. If this feels too uncomfortable for your low back, you could take your left knee up to match your right. And keep them at hip height. If you want a little more, you can intertwine your legs. One more detoxifying breath here. And use your core to come back mindfully onto your back. Unwinding your legs if you need to. Letting yourself windshield wiper or pull both knees in. We'll hold onto the left leg and straighten now your right leg. Keep pulling your toes up towards your face. Pull the left knee wide, right towards your outer rib cage. Take a breath in as you compress. Exhale to take your leg all the way across with a little bump of your hips to the left. Your left leg goes over to the right. Reach your left arm out. Notice the stretch you feel across your shoulder or even in your upper back. Take the variation that feels right with both knees up or legs intertwined. One more. activating your core. Just lightly to bring your legs back. Put your hips into the center of your space. Give your legs a hug, a little rock. Maybe one more happy baby. Maybe you're ready just to squeeze yourself in. You can kiss your knees. Say thank you. And then lower yourself down. Lengthen out your legs. At least hip width distance apart. Or if you've got the space, like I do tonight. I miss Robin, but now you can starfish if you've got the space. Arms all the way out like a big X. Find your rest here. No control of your breath. Just a mindful watching. Watch the thoughts. Watch the sensations in your body. No adding labels, no judgment. Just watching. I'll call you out when it's time. Take 5 more deep breaths. Or maybe they stay shallow. After those 5, take an inhale through your nose. And an open mouth exhale. Invite movement into your body in whatever way feels intuitive for you. You can stretch all the way up with your arms, rock your head, hug your knees in again. But slowly make your way over onto one side of your body, feeling supported by an arm or a block. Hugging your knees in. And think of one thing you're grateful for from today. How does it make you feel on the inside? Let the gratitude, the joy, the happiness, the pleasure bubble up inside of you until you come all the way up into a seat with your legs crossed, eyes soft or closed all the way. Pick up your heart, gather your hands in towards your heart, thumbs to sternum, We'll close this practice together with just one more breath. Exhale everything you've got first. So dump it out. And then take a new inhale through your nose. Exhale to give it back. Thank you so much for showing up. From my heart to yours. Namaste.